mom were at Chipotle, and she tapped me on the shoulder, and she's like, ooh, 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 ooh. Is that Kobe Bryant over there? And I turned and looked, and it was a black man wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey. And that was it. That was enough for her to think it might have been him. Because we all know how often Kobe Bryant goes to Chipotle's in Framingham, Massachusetts.
I'm always listening to Eugene Merman. I love Maria Bamford.
Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K.
I love a lot of local people around here.
There's a lot of talent here in Boston at the local level. There's very good crop of good young comics.
Viscerally at almost anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
you feel the audience's fear, your own fear. The whole show is about quelling fear.
When you crush in front of a packed house, there's no feeling it like that in the world.
At this point, just pursuing what I want to do, it's like ecstasy.
I like these somewhat high-risk things, the scuba, I've gone hang gliding, I've gone skydiving. I like a little bit of risk. I don't know, maybe that's why I do this. I saw a thing, actually, a study that said speaking in front of a crowd is considered the #1 fear of the average person. I found that amazing. #2 was death. Death is #2? This means to the average person, if you have to be at a funeral, you would rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy.
I'm gonna try stand-up comedy for the first time. My last words are, I'm gonna have to live with myself after this moment, and I think that's why it's so scary.
Okay. John Baglio, 23 years old, Waltham, Massachusetts. I tell people there was one kind of key moment, whereas I was 19 years old, I had just dropped out of college, and I was working at a pizzeria Uno. And a very attractive coworker said I was funny like Louis C.K. And so I was like, wow, maybe I can do this. So it always was kind of in the back of my mind. But that girl saying I was as funny as Louis C.K. and also I wanted to impress her. So that kind of was the final push that got me to do it.
My name is Phoebe Engel. I am 29 years old, and I am a stand-up comedian who manages a liquor store in downtown Boston.
But I've been writing, I've been taking the subway a lot, and I've seen this ad. Let me know if you've seen it. It's been freaking me out. It's about this big, and it has a pregnant woman on it. And it's sandwiched between, like, are you going to kill yourself, and don't you wish you went to college, you know?
I'd been into comedy for years. I loved watching it on TV. I used to drag my friends to go see stand-up when I was a teenager at the comedy club up in Portland, Maine, where I'm originally from. And after I moved to Boston, I'd been literally thinking about it for 10 years. One of my friends started doing stand-up. Another one took a class, and so they started doing stand-up together. And I was like, you know what, I can do this. I love this, and I just started. And then I never stopped. Just got up at an open mic one night and went from there.
My name is Peter Kwan. I'm 26, and I'm actually originally from South Korea.
When I was a freshman, I was part of the vet program. I joined the animal science major because I wanted to be a vet. And you realize soon enough that UConn's actually half a school, half a freaking farm. So they don't really deal with domestic animals, they deal with rural animals like pigs and cows and chickens. And let me tell you something, the first time you see a man stick his entire arm up to his shoulder into a cow's vagina hole, that's when you start reevaluating your career choice.
I decided to go into comedy for a variety of reasons. The main thing is that when I graduated, I was always that person that was into just doing creative work, regardless of whether that was school-related or whatever. But I just wanted the creative process. I just loved it. I don't know, I was longing for that because as I'm working, I'm just working. It's just a mediocre sets of tasks that I had to do. And so rather than having it easy and just having a job and just going through my life like, you know, easy, I just want to suffer a little bit. That's what it comes down to.
I'm Stephanie Simon, and people would rather die than speak in public or face rejection. And so when you do comedy, when you do stand-up comedy or you do improv comedy, you're really starting to conquer your top 2 human fears. I wondered, is that why other people do comedy? Because they want to conquer their fears. I want to know why people go after this dream that's pretty much going to end in failure.
Well, I think what's making it has changed over the years. I think it used to be you made it as a comedian when you got that Johnny Carson spot, when you were able to do the Tonight Show. That was really what making it is. But it's changed so much because people, it's just so subjective now what making it is.
Basically, my dream is to be part of a writing staff or just a sketch group or any type of group where I have a collaborative process. Having fun while creating fun material. If you get recognition from that, then you feel so much better because you understand that you have this indirect connection with the audience. It's not just my friends that laugh at my jokes, it's everybody else also.
I just want to go out there and try and have fun and try and do my best and develop more as a comic. I hope maybe in the next 8 to 10 years I can be more established. I'm living in New York, making my living mostly doing comedy.
I have a day job. I manage a liquor store, guys. It's pretty cool. If you guys want to be comedians who manage a liquor store too, I can tell you want to. All you need to do is get a master's degree in social work. And then decide you need to be where the money is.
What my parents think about it, they absolutely think I'm freaking weird.
My parents know. My father's more proud of me than my mother is.
Well, my dad's not really around all that much, so if I told him that, he'd probably think it was really interesting. I do tell him, I'm like, hey, I do this. But my mom loves it and hates it at the same time. I think she thinks it takes up too much of my time when I should be moving further in my career towards my goal.
I called him in the morning after my overnight shift, and I'm just like, Mom, I just can't do this anymore. I can't do it. And my mom's like, what are you talking about? I've been away for like a month. And this is the decision that you make, and they were just bombarding me, just grilling me.
A lot of my sense of humor comes from both my parents, but I think my dad more especially, because I think it's something he always wanted to do. And so I think he's happy that I'm pursuing it at least and being smart about it.
And then a day later they called and, they were more lenient, but they still don't get it. They call me the anomaly of the group, so.
I think it's tough. My sister has a very good job. She works for the Red Sox. So my mom always brags about her and her, like, oh, Jen, this is a photo of Jen with Jacoby Ellsbury and like all this stuff. So I'm definitely kind of the black sheep of who she's more proud of in the family.
There's this kid I know, he's a friend of mine, who's into magic cards and has like a club for Dungeons and Dragons, just the nerdiest kid. And I went up to him and I said, hey, I actually joined the poetry club. And he goes, dude, you're a faggot.
For working and doing comedy, the struggle is writing is a big thing, because during the day before your show, when you want to do most of your writing, you're working.
Yeah, it's just me being down on myself at all times. But I have to be self-critical, otherwise I can't be driven.
I have to mostly go straight from here to whatever show I'm doing, and so I either have to get changed in the car, on the way, that and just being tired.
Because right now, I'm 23 years old, I have no social life outside of comedy, all my friends are comics, all my friends from high school in college, I don't see anymore. I don't see them, dating is rough.
A lot of people say that, I could never do that up on stage, which is true. But they also have this sense of, it's like pity almost. It's like, oh, you're doing that.
I've had in offices and work situations where they found out I do comedy, and then it's just like, oh, I'm seen as a slacker, I'm seen as a goofball, lazy, taking time off work to do comedy, which are probably mostly true. But I think if they find out I'm a stand-up, I might lose my job.